Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another science lesson. In today's lesson, we will continue to look at energy. Today's driving question is: what is non renewable energy? Your do now activity. Answer the following questions. Number one, what is meant by renewable energy? Question two, what are the different sources of renewable energy? Please give yourself 5 minutes to complete this task. If you're having issues, please pause this video and go back to our last session. My apologies. Welcome back. The answers are: question 1, renewable energy is energy that is collected from renewable resources which are naturally replenished on a human timescale. Answer for question 2, sunlight, wind, rain, tides, waves, and geothermal. Now, based on our last lesson, these weren't the ones that we listed. Can you remember them? Now, if you were to see this very same question again in the future, you can answer it differently. What are the different sources of renewable energy? The most popular renewable energy sources currently are solar, sunlight, wind energy, wind, hydro, rain, mm, mm, okay, all right, tidals, wave, and last but not least, geothermal. Hmm. Are we missing out anyone or anything? You remember the video I did on the beach when I mentioned the leaves? What did I make mention to? I can hear someone saying it. I made mention about biomass. All right, biomass. And again, if you do not remember what biomass is, please go back or refer to our last lesson. Now, the definition of non renewable energy. Non renewable energy comes from natural resources that are not naturally replenished, such as coal, oil, and natural gas. And yes, these are the most popular non renewable energy sources. Again, they are coal, oil, and natural gas. Something to always remember: the reasons or purposes of using electricity or energy. First one, gas is used to heat our homes, water, and to cook our foods. We need energy to power our cars. We use diesel, oil, or electricity for fuel. We use electricity to power lots of things, such as lights, television, and computers. Now, we know that oil is one of those resources that countries, these big, powerful countries, they fight over. Once you are a country that produces oil, you're normally rich. Can you think of any rich country that produces oil or extract oil from the ground? Think about it. Oil and gas were formed from the remains of animals and plants that lived millions of years ago under the sea. These remains were covered by layers of sand and silt. Heat and pressure from the Earth's core turned them into oil and gas. The oil and gas were trapped between layers of impermeable rocks. Now, the word impermeable is in bold. What does that word mean? Impermeable, semi-permeable, permeable. Well, those are three terms that you will be using throughout your time in secondary school. Now, permeable means allow things to enter and leave freely. Semi-permeable means it allows some things in and some things out. And if it allows certain things in and out, it simply means that it prevents certain things from also entering and leaving. Now, impermeable is the opposite of permeable, which means that it doesn't allow anything to enter or leave. So the oil and gas that were trapped between layers of impermeable rocks, they had no option but to stay where they were trapped. All right. Now, coal is another non-renewable energy. Coal was formed from dead plants about 300 million years ago. Back then, much of the earth was covered by swamps. As the vegetations died, it decayed, slowly forming layers of peat. Over time, this was covered with more sediment and compressed and heated to form coal. Now, this is how crude oil is made. Yes, crude oil. That commodity that countries fight over, that countries become rich from selling. Hmm. Now, the picture one, layers of Dead Sea creatures formed on the seabed. So list as many sea animals that you can possibly name or remember. When those animals died years ago, their remains actually sunk to the bottom of the ocean. Those remains stayed there. Layers of sedimentary rock formed on top, and the creatures became trapped. So their remains were trapped underneath sedimentary rocks. Now, after millions of years, oil began to form in the absence of oxygen. So the molecules that were found within those dead organisms, they started to change form and became oil because there was no oxygen present underneath those sedimentary rocks. Now, can you turn the following statements into a paragraph in your book? 5 minutes. Now, crude oil. Now, if you don't remember, go back to the last minute or so of this video. So one, crude oil, one, and is finite. Two, that is found in the crust on the rocks. Three, and these were originally biomass. Four, it was mainly formed by planktons millions of years ago, being buried on the mud. Five, crude oil is a mixture of many different compounds. And six, is a liquid. How could we rearrange these six sentences, lines, phrases, whichever, to make a complete paragraph? Now, before, I should have said that crude oil or non renewable resources are finite. They are not infinite. Infinite means that they continue without ending. If something is finite, it will come to an end. So something that is infinite is like our universe. Yes, our universe never ends, it continues. No one knows the end, even if there is an end. Something that is finite is crude oil. Yes, it will eventually run out. If these countries continue to remove them from its natural state, all right, you should have crude oil is a liquid that is found in the crust on the rocks. It was being formed by planktons millions of years ago being buried on the mud, and these were originally biomass. Crude oil is a mixture of many different compounds and is finite. All right? Hopefully, you had gotten this correct. If not, you can make a correction. So, again, it reads crude oil is a liquid that is found in the crust on the rocks. It was mainly formed by planktons millions of years ago, being buried under mud, and these were originally biomass. Crude oil is a mixture of many different compounds and is finite. Please make your necessary corrections. Now, with all things, we have advantages and disadvantages. So, for this section of the lesson, we'll be looking at advantages and disadvantages of fossil fuel. 1. They generate large amounts of energy quite cheaply. Now, compared to the natural resources that were expensive to extract or harvest, these aren't really that expensive. So they generate large amounts of energy quite cheaply. As technology improves, more reserves can be accessed. Locating where fossil fuels is quite easy. Oil and gas can be transported through pipelines. And last but not least, the means of extracting fossil fuel is already in existence. Now, with most of the natural resources, we have to come up with different means, avenues, and technology in harvesting these resources. Some of the disadvantages of fossil fuels. They release carbon dioxide when they are burnt, creating pollution. That is quite self explanatory, isn't it? Carbon dioxide contributes to the greenhouse gas effect and global warming. The earth is become warmer or becoming hotter as time progresses. Mining can create ugly scars on landscape. Mining can be dangerous, especially as my apologies. Mining can be dangerous, especially as they are most easily accessible deposits are used up. Don't pay that one any mind. Let's move on. Something is wrong with that one, innit? All right. Oil spills can cause environmental damage. We've seen videos of when ships had oil spills. Animals were trapped, animals died, ducks, seagulls, fish, a lot of animals died. Supplies are running out and new sources are harder to get. Oil and gas are predicted to run out about 100 years or within 100 years. Let's read that again. Supplies are running out and new sources are harder to get. Oil and gas are both predicted to run out within 100 years. That's it. I got it this time. Yeah. All right. So, yes. So these are infinite. Well, finite to be honest. These are finite. I'm trying to remind myself as well. These are finite resources. They will run out. So that's why this bulletin said that they are predicted to run out within 100 years. At the rate at which we're going, they will run out. All right. Oil is mainly produced outside of the UK. So prices are set by other countries. So we just buy the oils from different countries based on their pricing. All right. Now, breaking news. Britain goes coal free as renewable edge out fossil fuels. Now, this is a very big deal for us in the UK. Guess why? Can you guess why renewable edges out fossil fuels? Now, it is very good, especially for the environment. We are contributing less to global warming. That's it. All right. And it's also good because we are preserving some of the non renewable resources. Thank you. So we're leaving some behind. So the UK's biggest power plant, Drax, started converting their station from 2014. And now they go, what do they go? Renewable energy. So they stop using non renewable energy, such as coal and fossil fuels. Now they're using natural resources such as sunlight, such as biomass, such as tidal. Now it's going to be more expensive, but it's worth it. Now, this link will be posted in Google Classroom. This link basically shows some of the non-renewable power stations being destroyed. So if you want to have a little fun, you can click the link and watch it there. Now, why don't we use renewable energy all the time? Now, this was meant to be a question for you to answer. We have done this before, so it shouldn't have been hard. 1. Renewable energy, such as wind and or sunshine, can't be stored to be used whenever we need it. 2. If wind doesn't blow, or if it isn't very sunny, then there may not be enough power for everyone. 3. Non-renewable resources such as oil or coal can be stored and used when they are needed. Fourth, non-renewable energy is usually cheaper than renewable energy, which means not everyone can afford to use renewable energy. So the two top ones are going against renewable energy. So the two top ones are saying that, hey, it's not good for us to use renewable energy because one and two, the last 2 points are for non-renewable energy because they sing praises to using non-renewable energy. Now, the link below will take you to a site. Please test your knowledge on what we've done so far. This will take you to Google Classroom for you to complete a quiz. This quiz is based on what we have done in last lesson and this lesson. Now we are at the end of today's lesson. I hope this was short enough to grab your attention and get the ball rolling. Please answer the following questions. You can do this by creating a Google document that you will be sharing with your teacher. Question 1. What is renewable energy sources? That's 2 marks. Name a gas which is released when fossil fuels are burned. Describe the harm this gas causes to the environment. Again, this is 2 marks. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to send an email to your teachers asking for assistance. Until next time, I was Mr. Samuels. Enjoy the rest of your day.